How's it going? I recently saw Ghostbusters Afterlife and Spider-Man No Way Home in theaters. They were both enjoyable films, not much tinfoil, but Ghostbusters Afterlife, I think for kids, captured that same excitement and same mystery of science. The way they went through Egon's laboratory, it just created that wonder that I remembered feeling as a kid through a lot of 80s films that made you not only interested in science, but more often more interested in the paranormal. And I think that's what's missing is that science has gone so all the way to what's measurable, what's observable, which is important. It's a discipline. But when you completely negate out all of the paranormal, you miss something. And I think we're all starting to discover that, yes, science is awesome, science is amazing, but if you leave yourself so closed minded to think that everything has already been discovered, then we miss out on a lot. And that's where delving into the paranormal brings all the discoveries. I mean, think about it. Nikola Tesla, he definitely was into the paranormal, which enabled him to discover things that a lot of the other scientists at the time weren't able to do. And then you also have guys like Faraday, Alexanderson, all of the pioneers of electricity. Electricity must have seemed like magic, and they helped pave the way to have this digital electrical world that we live in today. Now, there's other theories that say that the ancients and people before the 1900s had developed ways of not only electricity but wireless electricity, but most of the mainstream doesn't even acknowledge any of that. I'm just saying Ghostbusters rekindled that spirit, that excitement of not only science but the paranormal, joining them together. And Dan Aykroyd represents that perfectly, that perfect blend, because he's got that passion for the paranormal, but also respects the science. And then you even got Venkman, who's kind of like cynical about. Anyway, you know how it is. These guys aren't in the full movie, just in case you haven't seen it, but they do appear at the end, and it provides this nostalgia that you didn't even realize you needed. It's kind of like that same feeling you got when you're in The Force Awakens, seeing Han and Chewie and Leia, and then in Part 8 with Luke. So it's nostalgia that you didn't realize you needed. You needed to be able to say goodbye to Egon. You needed to see Ernie Hudson get his shine on. And make sure if you do see it, stay post credits, because there's two post credit scenes. One is there as the credits end, but then afterwards there's another Ghostbusters post credit. So if anything, and Ant-Man does a great job representing the glory of science and the excitement of discovery, the mystery, the wonder, as well as the female child actor and the boy podcast does a great job as well. He represents tinfoil podcasting, paranormal. So if anything, the spirit is there. Ghostbusters has a good spirit. Afterlife. And Spider-Man No Way Home, it's the same thing. It's go to see it for the nostalgia as well as like the conclusion of a trilogy of trilogies, because it celebrates all three of the Spider-Man trilogies of the three different Spider-Man universes, brings it all into one, and not only that, it brings up their enemies, the foes that they faced, and instead of killing them this time, they seek to reform them and find a way to correct or fix broken people. So that's kind of nice. It's kind of like I don't think it's new, but it's at least presented as a way to like, hey, maybe we shouldn't just kill people. We could maybe find ways to rehabilitate. But then it also shows that, yes, the easy way out is just kill somebody. The rehab is the hard way out to do it right and to fix it. And sometimes there's a lot of consequences and loss of life as well as loss of historical monuments. So I'm not sure what the answer is, but at least they tried. And remember, with great power comes great responsibility. But I think both of these movies provide nice nostalgia. A lot of people mock nostalgia, the member berries, remember from South Park. But I think it's important to at least remember some of the times that we had that shaped us, and to get to see those same people years later, and because we all kind of grew up together, and these movies were part of our lives, even though they're fiction. And it's nice to get closure. And in ways like with Ghostbusters, maybe it's a rebirth of the franchise with new characters. And with Spider-Man, the Marvel Cinematic Universe will always continue on. But it was really good to see all three of the Peter Parkers come together and unite. It's fiction, but I think as you go through the movies, something changes within you. So while both of the films lacked in tinfoil, I think they did good for what it did for your spirit, what it does for your soul. And I recommend them. Not for questioning reality, but just a good ride. And surprisingly, I thought the Spider-Man movie would have a lot of tinfoil, being that Doctor Strange is in the movie and it's dealing with the multiverse, casting spells, the paradox of when you change one thing, what else does it happen? But there wasn't much of that time travel factor. I mean, it's there, but some of the paradoxes that would have been created, they just didn't have the time to fully explore the consequences of interfering with the timeline as such. And it also would have been neat if the activities that Doctor Strange did on behalf of Peter Parker blended into the Loki conclusion with the man at the end of time, where he was foreseeing the divergent of the variants and whatever was going on there with the timeline. It may play out in some of these other shows, but it wasn't shown here. Nonetheless, not much tinfoil, but enjoyable. And if you've seen the movies, let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy them or did you not like them? I hope you did. Pretty much everybody I know liked Ghostbusters, Afterlife, and Spider-Man No Way Home. So anyway, may the force be with you. See you in the next one.